With pick 126, the Cleveland Browns make an excellent selection with Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. So we're going to tell you everything you got to know about the latest member of the Cleveland Browns roster, my thoughts on it on this pick, along with a little bit of what's next to come for Cleveland and all the picks they've made so far in the draft. But overall, I like this pick a lot, and it's not just because of a potential bias I may or may not have. No, I think Dylan Sampson is going to be a very good pick for the Browns, looking back for where they found him in the middle to later stages of round 4. All right, are we ready to break this pick down? Okay, here we go. The Browns just made a terrific pick, in my opinion, going with Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson. As a Tennessee grad, I watched every Vols game last year, and so I know all about Dylan Sampson, and I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about the latest Browns draft pick, and then my thoughts on the entire draft in general, and just what the Browns are going to do next. But some background first on the former 3-star recruit out of Baton Rouge. First thing you got to know is from a size perspective, he's not like Quinshon Judkins. And I think that brings a nice complementary type of running back to the running back room. He's a bit smaller. He's 5'8", 200 pounds. He was extremely productive in his 1 year starting for Tennessee. I'm talking 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns on the ground, 20 receptions. So he set numerous Tennessee records. When you see 22 touchdowns, you might immediately assume, all right, so he was a goal line merchant, right? No, not the case. He averaged nearly 6 yards a carry. He had plenty of long runs as well. Scored 36 touchdowns in 35 games for the Volunteers throughout his entire Tennessee career, putting up 20 touchdowns his last year, 22 touchdowns his last year, 13 combined through his first 2 seasons for the Vols. I love this pick. I think you are getting something that complements Judkins quite nicely, right? You want a thunder and lightning? Here's your lightning. At the NFL Combine, he did not run a 40-yard dash. However, at the Pro Day in Knoxville, he ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. Just really quick here, compare that to Judkins. Can you pull that up, Reed? Because I think you're going to find that these are two guys that complement each other nicely. Yeah, 4.48. So you are getting a faster back and quicker burst and acceleration and agility in Dylan Sampson, whereas Judkins is going to be more of your kind of Nick Chubb style of back of, hey, on 3rd and 3, can you help run a linebacker over for the first down? I love this tandem right here. And I think this signals a major shift in the future for the Browns running back room. One, I don't see a world where Nick Chubb comes back right now. You drafted 2 running backs, and you already had a couple of backs on that roster that you felt like would probably be there as well for next season. I mean, looking at Cleveland's running back room here, you've got Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins joining it. Jerome Ford still has a year or 2 left on his rookie contract. Pierre Strong is valuable in special teams, but he's kind of the odd man out. So I think what the Browns might do is this. I think they're going to roll with Judkins, Sampson, and Jerome Ford. I think on passing situations, they're going to rotate a little bit between Judkins and Ford, who are much better pass protectors. Sampson at 5'8", 200 is not someone I want keeping Joe Flacco upright on 3rd and 10 when you're clearly throwing the ball down the field. No, save Dylan Sampson a little bit for some of the early down runs, and then use Judkins on 3rd and short. Use Judkins, I wouldn't say even near the goal line, because Sampson with 22 touchdowns has a nose for the end zone, but I think this is going to be a fun running back tandem. I think this will be, this is big shoes to fill, but I think this is what Kevin Stefanski wants to get back to when he had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. He had Chubb to run, he had Hunt to receive. It's not identical with these two, because those two were very good at what they did. But I think that's the model that Andrew Berry wants to have, is what he had in Chubb and Hunt 3 years ago now. So Sampson comes over to Cleveland in round 4. I like this pick a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. We'll see what Dane Brugler has to say about this pick. But really quickly, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. We are live for the NFL draft right now. We've been live since the beginning of round 1. So if you're looking for that level of commitment, scroll on down and click that subscribe button. Help us reach our half milestone of 44,500. Now, Dane Brugler does a great job of covering the NFL draft. Here are his thoughts on Dylan Sampson. Sampson is undersized by NFL standards, and his inconsistent tempo gets him in trouble. But he is equal parts fast, physical, and slippery as a runner and shows promise as a pass catcher. He can have a Tony Pollard-like impact for an NFL backfield. I think people are going to look at 5'8", 200 and go, oh, the Browns got a receiving scat back. They got a utility guy, right? That's not Sampson. He's fast. He's got good burst. Like, he's got good lateral quickness. He can make all the cuts you want him to make. He may not have prototypical size to help run players over. He may not stand out in pass catching or receiving yet. That's something that coaches need to work on with him. But he's got a good base. And I like this pick a lot for Cleveland for the 100th time already. And yes, as a Tennessee grad, I know I'm a little biased, but I feel like if we can get back to Chubb and Hunt with Judkins and Sampson, that's going to help whoever's playing quarterback out next year a ton. Now, before we move on to the rest of my analysis of this draft pick and what's next for Cleveland in the NFL draft, I do want to give a big special shout out to our sponsor today, which is House of Atlas. After years of trying to get some facial hair going and never really put anything together, I've decided, you know what, let's just go clean shaven. And House of Atlas is a great way to do that. First of all, the Atlas razor looks sick. It has a sleek design, easy to hold and maneuver with a nice weight to it. And for a limited time, they're offering Browns fans 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the Precision Shave Cream and Calming Aftershave. Use code CHAT at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code CHAT for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you're going to love it as much as I did. All right, kind of some final thoughts on Sampson as a player and where the Browns kind of go next in the draft and the moves they've made so far to recap rounds 1 through 4 for Cleveland. But I like this pick. I'm not trying to be a broken record here, but I feel that with Judkins, you maybe thought, all right, they're kind of satisfied at running back. No, I think we are seeing with the last 4 picks by the Browns, take Dylan Gabriel out, running back, tight end, running back. Does that remind anyone of what Kevin Stefanski did in 2020, 2021, 2022, up until they kind of reshifted things for Deshaun Watson? They had 2 tight ends and 2 backs used often, and that is being exercised in this draft. So clearly Stefanski is getting vocal in the war room with, I want to do this. Give me the manpower to do this. And Sampson is going to help him out in that department. So overall, the Browns have had a great draft except for Dylan Gabriel. It's just a bad pick. Why? For 2 reasons. One, round 3, it's not even about I would take a different quarterback over him. That's partially it for sure. But why do you get, how about you could get, if they flip-flop these picks, I think everyone would view it differently probably. Am I wrong? If they went with Sampson in round 3 and Gabriel in round 4, the tone would be so different. But the Browns did a great job early in the draft. Mason Graham should hopefully be this team's Cam Hayward, Geno Atkins, Haloti Ngata for the next decade. Now, you may not get number 55 like he's looking for. Ethan Posick could put a price tag on it. But Carson Schwesinger, he comes over from UCLA. He's going to be a well-rounded linebacker. Really cool story. 0-star recruit, ends up starting last year for the Bruins, tackling machine in the Big Ten, led the conference in it. He doesn't have maybe one trait where he pops out. He's not the most physically gifted athlete. He wasn't like JOK, who was a screamer coming out of Notre Dame, but he's hopefully going to provide some stability at linebacker year after year and not have it constantly be a revolving door. Then you get Quinshon Judkins, who is going to be hopefully this team's next workhorse back for, 8 to 9 years. And then Harold Fannin, Led the country in receiving yards and receptions as a tight end for Bowling Green. 1,500 yards. Well over 100 grabs. Yards after the catch and after contact, demon. And then to open up, to close out day 2 of the draft and to open up day 3, the Browns went with the pick that no one is really on board with, Dylan Gabriel. You took a 5'10", small-handed Hawaiian quarterback to play in Cleveland, Ohio. This has Anthony Schwartz and Siaki Ika written all over it. And then last but not least, Dylan Sampson. The Browns then pick again in round 5 and round 6. They do not have a 7th rounder. So 2 more selections for Cleveland, barring a trade. But how would you grade the Dylan Sampson pick? Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give this grade right here like a solid B+. You know, if I give it an A, you're going to call me a homer and completely discredit it. But I really think that Browns fans are going to warm up to this pick and become big fans of Sampson, the player. So give me your grade. We are live right now on the channel, so if you want to get some live coverage of the NFL draft, make sure you hop on over. If you haven't yet, do me a big favor, subscribe and like today's video as well, and we'll see you for round 5.